hit like, and subscribe. You're watching the Marc Lamont Hill official YouTube channel.
Family, good morning. Good morning. Ekaro. Welcome to Ascending. I am your happy host, April R. Silver. Welcome to the Marc Lamont Hill official YouTube channel. Some of you are watching on Twitter. We appreciate all of your eyeballs. We thank you. If you are watching on Twitter, we ask that you move on over from Twitter. Watch this on YouTube, Marc Lamont Hill official. You know, we make that announcement all the time because it helps us as an independent channel if you are watching on YouTube instead of Twitter, but wherever you're watching, from wherever you're watching, thank you. We appreciate it. And we have an amazing, powerful show. It is so much to unpack today on this Saturday. You know, we're live every Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern, right here. And today we're going to talk about a lot. We have a featured guest and we have a special guest. So this is a two-part series. But first, again, we want to thank you. We want you to check in. Tell us from where you are ascending. That's a regular. I know we got a lot of new people today because y'all are here for our featured guest, Dr. Shango Blake, who's coming up in a moment. So he's going to talk about this topic for those who are listening and not watching. The topic with Dr. Shango Blake is education at the crossroads, Black studies as the study of the world. So buckle up, family, because we're about to go in on the groundbreaking work that this educational leader has done. Later, I'll tell you, in a minute, I'll tell you who our guest is, the special guest. But right now, tell us from where you're ascending. Shout out your city, your town, your country. We know that y'all watch from all over the world, and we appreciate it. Again, welcome to Ascending. We want you to know that beyond me, who you see on the camera, we have the Marc Lamont Hill official team. We want to thank them. I want to thank my A team, Kevin, Drake, Aaron, Sandy, all of the loyal viewers who've been watching us for 34 episodes. You know, this is a new weekly live, so we thank you. We thank you. We thank you so much. I definitely want to shout out the team. I want to say thank you again to the loyal viewers. I have some giveaways today. I hope that Rolando is here. I'll check in a minute. Loyal fam that he is, and Cynthia Rose and everybody who's watching. So let's just jump right in. Let's do our bookmark first. Y'all know every week we do a bookmark, right? And so the bookmark for today, because so much of what we're going to talk about today is around hip hop. There's a relation. Y'all know I'm a hip hop head. If you don't now, you do. But the bookmark for today is Can't Stop, Won't Stop by Jeff Chang and Davy D. I had the honor of being the publicist for the re-release of this book, which was in 2021. Jeff Chang and Davy D wrote this young adult version of Can't Stop, Won't Stop. If you're a hip hop head, especially if you're in the academy, you know this book, the original version. I don't know if you know about the young adult version. So let's give the audience, Kevin, let's give the audience a little bit of a intro to what this book is about.
Can't Stop, Won't Stop, A Hip-Hop History is a critically acclaimed book collaboration between Music Man and award-winning author Jeff Chang and music guru, journalist, and activist Davy D. Cook. Dive into a good book about hip-hop culture with plenty of stories on legendary rap artists including Queen Latifah, Tupac, Scarface, Public Enemy, Nicki Minaj, Hammer, Eminem, Kendrick Lamar, MC Lyte, Cardi B, Salt-N-Pepa, Ice Cube, Rhapsody, DJ Kool Herc, and Biggie, just to name a few. Plus incredible interviews from dope DJs, sick graffiti artists, and so much more. Can't Stop, Won't Stop, A Hip-Hop History by Jeff Chang and Davy D. Cook. Get it now. Find out more at can'tstopwon'tstop.com.
Yes. How lucky am I that I get to hang with these amazing people, Jeff Chang and Davy D. That's family right there. So family, check out that book. And where do we want you to check it out? At Black-owned bookstores, right? We always give A shout out to all Black-owned bookstores, independent bookstores. Get the book wherever you can, but please make an extra effort to support maybe Uncle Bobby's in Philadelphia. It's an actual store and center. That's the founder, Marc Lamont Hill. For those who are watching, not listening, I mean, watching, we show this every week. So shout out to Uncle Bobby, shout out to Black bookstore owners, wherever you are in the country. If you can't find it online, in the store, then definitely order from these Black-owned bookstores. Next week, I'll make sure that I give you all a link to a list of so many of the Black bookstores across the country, because that's how we do right here. So y'all know we do bookmark. We do bookmark reminder. I want to go straight to our Black media shout out. And then we're going to go do 2 in memoriam. So the Black media shout out is my sister, Dr. Stacy Patton. I like to say she's not for everybody. She's a scholar. She's a journalist. We used to do a segment together on WBAI. I don't remember when, I guess in the early 2000s, we were on, oh my God, I'm drawing a blank. The name of the show, geez Louise. With Esther Armar, our dear sister, we had a segment every Tuesday that I'm completely drawing a blank on, but Stacy and I and others would just, comment. But I want to fast forward to the work that she's doing now. She's a professor at Howard University, my beloved alma mater. She's a journalist, she's a scholar, and she's fierce. She is she's a beast, and I mean that in a good way, with regard to combating racism and sexism and all the ills of the world. I want you to follow her on Facebook. I want you to follow her on Substack. You will get clarity. You will get a little bit of humor. She's not for everybody. If there's justified venom in her attack on racists or pedophiles or sexists or whatever. I love her dearly. We are going to have her on the show. That's in the works. But that's the Black media shout out, right? You can follow her freely on Facebook, Dr. Stacy Patton. For those who are listening and not watching, Stacy is spelled Stacey. The last name is Patton. Dr. Stacy Patton. We are going to gift, Kevin, please help me to remember, a free month on her Substack. On her Substack, you have to pay, that's how Substack works, substack.com. You have to pay a minimum of $8, and you get so much access. And if you follow her at all, you know that she donates the proceeds to her journalism students, right, at Howard University. But we're going to gift a free month to one of our loyal viewers who will be in the chat today. We don't know who it is, but as a paid member to her Substack, I get to gift a free month, and you can kind of just test it out. So Kevin, please help me to remember that we're going to do that at the end of the show. So let's move on from Black Media shout out. Thank you, Stacy, Dr. Stacy Patton, for all that you do. Today is a very special day in a weird, bittersweet kind of way. It is the day that our beloved Tupac Shakur was murdered. Well, no, it's the day he died. But was the hit was several, I guess I don't know, Kevin, if it was a week or a couple of days beforehand. And I'm Generation X proudly. Tupac Shakur, phenomenal hip hop artist, a brilliant thinker. I wish he had made some other kinds of decisions, but the decisions that I love and adore about how he thinks was his unabashed, very clear and well-defined view of the world. And he was just for us. And so September 13th is the day, 1996, that he passed. He's a fellow Gemini, actually. So I just wanted to make sure that we did that shout out, because we should. That's what In Memoriam is all about. So rest in peace to Tupac Shakur, born, for those who can't see the screen, June 16, 1971 to September 13, 1996. The other In Memoriam that we're doing today is, thank you, Kevin, you're so spot on. 4 African-American little girls were murdered in a church bombing as a result of a church bombing in Alabama on September 15th. Did I get that right? Let me see. Yeah, September 15th. Yes, which is coming up on Monday. That happened in Alabama. The names of the girls and their ages, their picture is on the screen. I hope those who are listening can go over to YouTube so you can see these pictures. The names of the girls that were murdered in this church bombing in Alabama in 1963. Their names are Addie Mae Collins, she was 14. Cynthia Wesley, she was 14. Carol Robertson, she was 14. And Carol Denise McNear, she was 11. Again in 1963 by white, racist, inhumane, I guess, human beings. Yeah. Yeah. But I want us to lift up their names always, not just them, because those are the names and the faces that we know, but those who made sacrifices and who were killed, murdered, maimed, raped, spat upon, had dogs, thrust upon them, all the things. I want us to not take for granted the sacrifices that our ancestors did. And I don't want us to, in a perfect world, we wouldn't just do it by calling their names and saying rest in peace, although that's important. In no way am I diminishing that. But I would love if I myself and you and all of us made sure that our work and our sacrifice was consistent with the values and the principles for which they stood. So I definitely wanted to shout out Addie Mae, Cynthia, Carol Denise. May their spirits rest in peace. May we never be separated for what they have come to mean in our community here in this country and beyond. So on that note, I wonder if it's okay, family, if we can get into, yeah, Kevin, we can take that down. And let's do this. Let us welcome in just 2 seconds. Let me welcome to the stage our guest. Where's my banner? I don't see the banner. Oh yes, let's welcome to this. Let's welcome to the stage Dr. Shango Blake. How you doing, sir?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm great. All things considered, I'm great. All things considered. I think that's the parenthetical phrase that everybody's using right now. I'm doing fine, all things considered. Have you found that to be true as well?
Absolutely. We're living in some turbulent times, and it's definitely all things considered.
Yes.
With everything that's going on, is a concern about, political balance, freedom of speech, and this total denigration of civilization in terms of fair exchange.
Yeah. I can honestly say to you, sir, that's why I'm excited that you're with us today, right? Because I have, in just a very short period of time, I've come to be introduced to your work, right? Your work is so layered. I can't say that I know all of the work. I know enough to know that we should be honored to be in your presence. You have made sacrifice. You have made decisions to be the educational leader that you are. You're a thought leader. You're a community activist. And the conversations that you and I have had just in a short period of time has inspired me as a former educator, right? I used to be when it used to be called the Board of Ed. I'm telling my age right now. So I'm just really excited. And I would love for you to start us off so people can know why I'm so excited about your origin story as two things. Let's keep that banner there, Kev. Your origin story as an educational leader. Tell us where that came from. And then weave into that just your introduction to the movement. You and I know some of the same amazing people.
Yes.
That lets me know that your contribution is beyond education, but there's something deeper. Can you fill us in?
Yes. So I'm nationally known as the hip hop principal. My work has been featured on Tribeca Film Festival, on HBO, on Oprah, and it starts with this school in Jamaica, Queens, called Intermediate School 109. This school was, just think Lean on Me. right?
Right,
Everything you
right.
can think of in the way of urban blight, the low student attendance, poor uh, uh, academic outcomes, teacher morale low, community confidence low. And here I am, I enter into this school as an interim acting principal, and I'm tasked with the responsibility, the mandate to actually change this school. So whether I like it or not, I'm entering into the school as a change agent. And I guess we can get to this a little down the line, but most Black educators find themselves in the same position because of the schools that we are allowed to lead. And I know that's a loaded word, and that's why I said we'll get to that down the
Right.
line. But so what I did in short was I used hip hop as a communication strategy and a way to connect with young people and connect them to the curriculum. So hip hop was the bait, education, or hip hop was the bait, and then education was the hook. And so I took uh, uh, the students' love for hip hop, and I got them to make a song that really was a new mandate for the school. Right, the song was called "Time to Shine" at 109. You can see it on YouTube; it's up there.
Okay.
Um, and then the students will learn how to make documentaries, video documentaries. And then we connected that to the prerequisite learning standards, right? So if you're a filmmaker, you have to do storyboarding, you have to do script writing, you have to learn how to edit. You might film out of sequence and then put it together in a different way. So students learned about like POV shots, point of view, right? They learned about how to evoke emotion through filmmaking and how you can use those same skills to be an effective writer. So the message was you couldn't be an effective filmmaker if you weren't an effective writer. And this was all about them making hip hop videos. They learned how to budget out the project. They learned that if they're going to sell at the time CDs or DVDs for a certain price point, they were going to have to still create a quality product, know the price point in the market, and then figure out how to market that to the community. So they're dealing with data, they're dealing with graphs, they're dealing with charts, everything that you need in that you learn in terms of math. What we were doing was we were taking the learning that students are expected to receive, and we were making it project based and applicable, so that we were no longer just learning formulas and learning writing techniques to pass the test. We were saying, hey, take this, you can use this in this way. It can be productive, it can be financially fruitful. And the end result was that we went from the lowest performing middle school in that area to number one in reading, math, and science. We became the most sought after middle school because we changed the climate, the culture. It wasn't just hip hop, but students were expected to come with a different mindset. But hip hop played a critical role in us changing this school and making it one of the most effective educational institutions in New York City.
Congratulations. Like that is worthy of praise. And I'm so grateful that you and your team and the students and the faculty, that everybody bought in, because the results are transformative. I want to, before we go into the other kind of part of that, I can't sit here and be so inspired by what you're saying and not also talk about a mutual friend that we have, Dr. Stephen Jackson,
My
who,
guy.
yes, yes, I was with Stephen Jackson. This was before he was doctor, right? This was before he was a principal. I think he was still a classroom teacher at Boys and Girls, if I'm not mistaken, when he had the idea to do the rapping Ruppets.
Yes.
Rapping Ruppets, you remember? That had to have been like in the late 90s, right? It's the first time I ever got a client's project in a major publication, because the idea was to use hip hop, to your point, to help students learn, to make education fun and relatable. So it was big, massive costumes. That was for elementary school. But this whole notion of hip hop and education has a long history, has a lot of threads, and
Oh
that,
yeah, you can
yeah,
you can look at we can go back into some of the work that KRS-One was doing, right?
absolutely.
And he refers to himself, and rightfully so, as the teacher. But this whole concept of hip hop and education, it does have a long trajectory. And what I was attempting to do was show leaders, school leaders, how you
Yes,
can utilize hip hop to change school culture, to professionally
absolutely.
develop teachers and engage young people, and actually make it not just within the constructs of the classroom, but how you can use it to change a whole school community.
Which is what you did. Which is what you did. And I got to give a shout out to everybody at Howard University. In 1991, we did the nation's first hip hop conference at Howard University. Never had been done before, groundbreaking. That was 1991, and ours was for the college and the college and university community, and marrying that and our values with the industry, with the culture that we created. You know what I mean? So I can't not reference those two things, right? Because this is all married. Let me, yeah, for sure, for sure. Let me shout out to everybody at the Cultural Initiative at Howard University for the groundbreaking work. But Dr. Blake, let me ask you, did you find resistance from the leaders who you were trying to impact? Did you find resistance, or were like hands off, let you do your thing?
Oh no, absolutely, absolutely.
Absolutely, you had resistance.
Oh, let me. What's so interesting? I recall some of the faculty, because I had the hip hop project going on, and I started a gospel choir at the school. To connect with young people and their experiences. And I remember distinctly, I had to have a faculty meeting, and I brought my music teacher in, older white gentleman, to explain to the staff, because some of the staff were mumbling, he's trying to make this into a black school. And my school was diverse. We did have a predominantly black population at the school, but at the time that they were saying this, 85% of the buying audience was white for hip hop. And
Yes.
the number one artist at the time was Eminem. And so myself and this teacher then did a professional learning series for the staff, explaining American music and how American music comes from black people
Yes.
in its origin, whether we're talking about gospel, or we're talking about blues, jazz,
Mhm.
rock and
Right.
roll, right? So like this, like we had to, you say layered, we had to unpack the layers for those who wanted to use that to say that somehow I was imposing a black culture onto the white staff. So I had to deal with some of those kind of resistance. And then the other part was just lack of understanding. Parents, at first, when I decided that I was going to do this hip hop piece, the perception of what hip hop was gangster rap.
Yes.
So there were parents that were like, well, wait a minute, what is he doing? Not understanding that we were taking the culture, the beat, which comes from Africa, which comes from the human heart, to tap into the heart of our young people, to elevate them in terms of their academic excellence. And once parents understood that it was about academic achievement, it was about teaching and learning, and it was about student outcomes, then they were like, wow, we support this. But
Yeah.
it was so new, and it
Right.
was so
Right.
different. We had to teach people as
Yeah.
we go along.
And it seems like, and I think this is for any hip hop activist, that's worth their salt and worth their weight in gold. is to help the larger audience know that there are redeemable qualities, for lack of a better phrase, redeemable qualities beyond what corporate media will show you. So it sounds like you had to let people know, don't believe everything you see and hear about hip hop. Is that fair to say?
Said, don't believe the hype. And
Yes.
one of the things that's critically important for us to understand is, what is hip hop?
Yes.
You know, because you just said it. You said it perfectly. Like, there's the corporate pop culture, which I literally was going against the grain of that.
Yes.
Then
Yes.
there's hip hop. So at my school, the students learn the 5 elements of hip hop.
There you go.
Understood what hip hop was, how it came to be, how it was a voice for the voiceless, how it emerged out of nothing, how it was an anti-violent movement, right?
Yes.
And so we were participating in hip hop. So when I say I'm the nation's hip hop principal, I'm talking about hip hop. And too many times we throw hip hop onto things, to me, that are really not.
Right. And clearly well deserved. I want to because you talked about filmmaking, I just want to insert in here just for a moment that after you, interestingly enough, you wanting your students to be educated with practical tools like filmmaking, like you said, we have Byron Hurt, who's going to join us later, right? Who's a documentary filmmaker, another proud client here at Aquila Work Songs, that's going to talk about his film series. So for those who might not have caught it, or if I forgot to say it in the beginning, Byron Hurt will be joining us, after your segment. Dr. Blake, I think you'll appreciate, that segment as well, because Hip Hop Beyond Beats and Rhymes, which you may be familiar with, is a classic. That's one of his 7 major films and shorts. But let's come back. I want to get into the curriculum for sure. There's no way that we cannot talk about the curriculum that you co-created. But tell us about the movement into which you were born and your family. And you and I had a conversation about our beloved Sonia Sanchez. We had her on the show. She was our second guest back in January of this year. But there's some connective tissue beyond the fact that we come from education. There's a larger, the Black arts movement, the Black power movement. Your name is not regular. Your first name, Shango, like something was poured into you from the very beginning. So give us that context as well, beyond your career path as an educational leader.
Well, I'm very fortunate, because my name, which initially made me shy, right? Because when you're middle school and you're trying to talk to girls and you're saying, "Hey, my name is Shango," they're like, "What?" Yes. So, but as I grew as an adult, I've learned to just really love my name and its meaning, which means God of thunder, lightning, and war. And my parents, who very influential in my origin story, named me Shango, and they were heavily involved in the civil rights movement, the Black Power movement. I always feel like I had the best of both worlds. My mother was a confidant of Rosa Parks. My father was an assistant minister to Minister Louis Farrakhan. And so, I had this like really rich environment in which I grew up in. You mentioned Sonia Sanchez. Both her and my father were professors at Borough Manhattan Community College. They were leaders of student, the student movement in the 70s, which was all wrapped around the Black Power movement. So this was like the environment that was in my home. These are the things that I was exposed to. I was very fortunate to talk Black, history and Black studies and Black people and self-determination in the house. But here's the flip side of that. When I left the house, now me and you had mentioned earlier, you're a proud Generation X. And by the time we reached the 80s, a lot of these movements, which were intentionally victims of the counterintelligence program and
Yes.
destroyed and marginalized, left
Yes.
our generation coming up in the Reaganomics era, in
Yes.
the crack era. And on my block was one of the biggest drug dealers to come out of that 80s era, specifically out of Queens. And so I had this dichotomy of, this is what is in the home, but this is what's outside, right? This is what's in the home, but I go to a school where Black studies and Black history is not being taught. So the experiences that I'm experiencing at home are not being reinforced and validated in the schools. And I think all those things together shaped my hip hop lens, shaped my development into unapologetic, right, Black leader, and a leader who's going to fight for his people.
Yes, I love it. That's why you belong here, and we belong rocking with you, and you belong here, because that's perfect. I want to take a little bit of a break to say welcome to everybody who's joining. I see our numbers are growing. I know your people are here.
They're here.
Blake, I know they are. So shout out. We're going to talk about BU in just a second. Yes. But everybody who's just now joining, be sure to like this video, to share it. You got some time to tell your people. See, we got some people watching from the DMV. Welcome, welcome. Oh, see, I knew we're international, Dr. Blake. As you can see, the advocate is from Nottingham, England. So nice. Tell us where you're from in the chat. Watch on YouTube if you can. We got Megan, hi. Megan Roof. It's been a while. I think we haven't seen you in a while. So welcome back. So everybody just check in. Mo Beasley's here from Miami Beach. So I just wanted to make sure that people get revved up. I see the numbers growing. So we thank you so much. And please, everybody, remember, tell your people they can watch this show later. You don't have to watch it live. You can watch it Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Thursday, whenever. Everything is on the Ascending playlist. And for those who are just checking in, Byron Hurt will be with us shortly to talk about what he's doing around documentary filmmaking. So, Dr. Blake, I want to also shout out, today is Oshe Shango, or Oshe Jakuta, for those who are Orisha practitioners in the Yoruba tradition, the spiritual tradition of the Yoruba people in West Africa, of which I am a practitioner. I purposefully wore red today because this is Oshe Shango. So there's a lot of depth, wow, to what you're talking about. So I had to say that. When y'all hear me say Ekaro, that means good morning in the Yoruba language. So I thread my practices as a practitioner of this tradition for 30-something years. I threaded in there. So I just let y'all know for the first time what Ekaro means. So on this day, it's very appropriate, Shango Blake.
So interesting. In my walk, I've met people from Nigeria, and I've met so many people from who belong to the Yoruba community, and so they'll slide up next to me and they'll say, how do you got that as a first name? So I have to tell them the story about my aunt. Yes. Dance and traveling in Africa. Yes. And then they'll start, like, I've had Orisha priests read me, right? Wow. Like, and I'm not aware that there's a reading going on. They're questioning me, right? So they want to know, what do I know about my name? Do you know this? And then they'll add on, and then they'll say some other things. And so every time I meet people from that part of the world, or even here in America, they add on something that allows me to even learn more about my name. But I'm going to tell you something, since we're talking about Black studies, that name, that you can trace the transatlantic slave trade through Shango, because in Nigeria, it's it's the Yoruba people. But when we came over to the Western Hemisphere and started to intermix with the indigenous people of this world, it became Santeria, right? It was under Santeria. But if you look at Santeria, they dropped the S at the C, Shango. So you can see Shango in Brazil, Cuba. You can see Shango in the Dominican Republic. It's the interconnected tissue. Through that name Shango, you see the connection between the people.
You're telling the truth right there. You're telling the truth. In addition to that, in the traditional Yoruba language, there's no H and there's no C in the name. So it's Sango, but the S has a dot under it. And in the Yoruba language, when you see a S with a dot under the S, it's pronounced sh. So that's, and then, but when it came into the New World, the S with the dot under it didn't translate, but the sound did, right? So that's why in the New World, so to speak, you have Shango's Ango. I think I froze for a minute. I think I did.
Listen, that's what I said. I meet people and I learn something new every day. That I did not know. And that's the beauty of studies. And there's so much to learn. And I feel like we'll be studying this all the way from the cradle to the grave, because
absolutely
it's hidden history.
Woe is the person who thinks that they're going to know everything, be it about Shango, Orisha, Orumila, Oshun. Woe is the person who thinks that they know everything, you know, about this tradition and the way it expresses itself with people of African ancestry all over the world. Absolutely. So if it's pure and authentic and honorable and of good character, it is welcome. So we thank you for your work and your sacrifice. So I just wanted to add that, you know, as a practitioner for over 30 years. So thank you. So Dr. Shango Blake, let's get into this curriculum, right? Let's get into the first pre-K through 12 Black Studies curriculum that is now officially available to all public schools in the city of New York. You co-created that curriculum. It's been in the New York Times. The journey of this has been in the New York Times. It's been in local media. When you say the New York Times, it's national, right? Yeah. I mean, we all know that. But tell us about that. And Kevin, let's put up the there we go. This is the landing page on one of the websites for the city of New York. And just for those for those who are listening and not watching, this is Black Studies as the Study of the World, a pre-K through 12 Black Studies curriculum for New York City public schools. The full curriculum is available for teachers, for educators, and the public. That's what's on the screen right now. We're gonna, Kevin, if you can, if is it in the chat already, there's a link that we're gonna share. Y'all, Kevin is my producer in the background. If y'all keep hearing me say that, there's a link that we're gonna share so people can download it themselves, of which I did. It's extensive. Dr. Shango Blake, please fill us in.
And thank you. And please download it because the more clicks we get, it sends a message through the algorithm to the New York City public schools.
Oh, word?
Important. This is an important curriculum and that people want it. So the more clicks, the better. But I do want to give a shout out. You know, I want to first of all thank you for allowing me to come on and address your audience, whether they're listening or watching on YouTube, because yes, it's been in the New York Times, but to be honest with you, the true story of how the Black Studies curriculum came to be has yet to be told, right? It came from a movement, and I got to give a shout out to two groups. One is the organization that I'm president of, Black Edfluencers-United, BU for short. It is an organization of principals, teachers, community leaders, political leaders, all under one umbrella, working to really come together to deal with institutional racism in education and systemic inequities. And this group is the group that is at the vanguard of the Black Studies curriculum. It is this group that wrote the position paper to the City Council of New York. And I want to shout out the current Speaker of the City Council, Speaker Adrian Adams, who is the one who championed it through City Council and got the funding for this Black Studies curriculum. And as a result, an organization was formed called the Education Equity Action Plan Coalition. And this group consisted of several organizations, Black organizations and allied organizations that work together to write the curriculum, to engage the community around the curriculum. So I would be remiss if I did not shout out the ABNY, one of the oldest civil rights Black organizations in education in New York City. It stands for the Association of Black Educators for New York. I want to shout out Eagle Academy Foundation. I want to shout out United Way, Burke, Black Education Research Center, and then there's my organization, BU. So this grassroots collective group of organizations came together to write the curriculum. And not only did we write it, but while we wrote it, we developed pilots for it. We went into barbershops. We went into beauty salons. We were at laundromats, engaging communities. We were at parent organizations, PTAs, parent leaders. We did all of this, right, to bring about this unique curriculum. Now, April, the reason why I took time to list all of these individuals, because I really want to emphasize this is what happens when we come together, right, in a collective, united way around actionable agenda items to push forth real practical change. And as a result of the political will, the community activism, the Black Studies curriculum is here and it's now available to all schools, and we're still pushing for the proper implementation.
So thank you. I thank you. I want you to take a look at the screen and tell us if we got that right. On the screen, it says shout out to the Black Edfluencers-United, which is the name of the organization.
Yes.
One of the many that you mentioned. And the website is www.thebe-u.org. Did we get that right?
You got it right.
Okay. So I like that you took the time to make sure that people knew that this was a collective effort. I like that you all went in the barbershops and the beauty salons and the laundromats, all the things that you said, because that really does speak to collective building. And then here we are. You know, what is New York has what 1.1 million students?
Yeah.
You know, in the school system, right? So I let me just say this as kudos to you and your team. Every Black educator that I know, some of who have been on this show, because we do a lot on Black education, they love it. I'm talking about people in New York, outside of New York. They have read it, they heard about it. It's comprehensive, and they're like, wow. So congratulations.
Oh, you know what I got to say, and I can't not mention that we are functioning as legacy.
Yes.
So I would be remiss if I didn't say, if I didn't mention the names of Dr. Claude Anderson, Dr. Adelaide Sanford,
yes.
Dr. Jeffries, Dr. Henry Clark, and we consulted with our elder scholars. I just want to say that this may be a little, some people may get a little offended, but I don't like this concept of the new wave scholar that doesn't give credit and understand that there's nothing new under the sun.
Yes.
Right? Dr. Adelaide Sanford in the 90s was pushing for a curriculum of inclusion,
Yes.
which would bring Black history and Black studies to New York public schools. We consulted with Dr. Lester Young, who's a protege of hers, who is the president of the New York State Board of Regents. So again, all of these people helped us to get it right. And you'll see it reflected in the content of the curriculum. And then shout out to those Black teachers that we consulted with that actually wrote the curriculum so that it was implementable. You know, so the biggest thing with great ideas and that people throw at, you know, New York public schools is that it sounds good, but then when you get in the classroom, it's not implementable. But this curriculum is user-friendly. Teachers have reported that they love it. It connects to the literacy. It connects to art, science. It is something that teachers can use their own creative mind to build on, or they can actually just follow the links and the resources within the curriculum. And it is something that it doesn't require them to do anything different than they're already doing, because it's graded in. It's not taught as a set aside.
Right. I love it. I love it. And I, you know, like I said, I was in the classroom for several years, and some of us, as you know, we teach it regardless, right? Yeah. Because that's just who we are. But I imagine for those who need some guidance and support, this is and like I said, I didn't do a deep dive, but I did enough to know that made me go like, wow. So hats off to you and your team. Let me ask you this, as we kind of close out a little bit. What do you say, you and your team, all of your, you know, your colleagues, what do you say to those who are like, but New York City public school system is more than just Black children? What about the white students? What about the Asian students? And I'm doing a little tongue in cheek here, but I imagine that somebody was coming for y'all because you had the audacity to say the study of the world through a Black lens. What has been your response to those folks?
So I want to answer that by saying this. There was a professional learning that I was doing, and a white teacher asked me, you know, why can't this be more, what was the word that they were looking for? It was inclusive. Mm-hmm. And I said, but by teaching Black studies, you are now including a group of people that have been historically marginalized and excluded. So to teach Black studies is in fact an act of inclusion, because we've been omitted from the history books. And that is detrimental to all children, not just Black children, because when Black children don't know who they are and what they contributed to the world, what does that do to the self-esteem? What does that do to their sense of purpose if they don't know that they came from the people who created mathematics, the people who created science and language, the first people who cooked and seasoned food? Like, to know that is to know who you are. But also for the white students and the Asian students who also don't know who we are and what we've contributed, it now develops a healthy your respect for them and their classmates. And so what we've been experiencing is white students, Asian students who have been exposed to the curriculum. They absolutely love it. And not only have they given praise for it, but it has allowed them to now share their cultural experiences. Because the way the curriculum is taught, it makes room for others to come in and say, wow, I can connect with that level of oppression or struggle because we were fleeing oppression and struggle when we were dealing with this. So it connects the dots. You know, there's been this false narrative that is harmful to other races and other children. where we have seen it as a coming together. And not only that, but white teachers are loving teaching the curriculum because, like I said, none of us know everything about Black history. And so the white teachers are saying, well, I never knew about Seneca Village in Central Park. I didn't know that, that slavery was so prevalent up north. So now they're learning these pieces, and it's opening up doors and it's enriching. And what we do is to help cultivate some of the things that you're talking about. We do a robust mindset readiness training for teachers because we understand that yes, we have the curriculum, but the teachers have to be properly trained, and we must deal with implicit bias. We must be able to teach those difficult parts of history, like slavery and what happened, in a way that also looks at the social and emotional impact that all children are going to have when they receive this, and making sure teachers do no harm.
It's so fitting, and it flows quite well. Our dear mutual friend Kevin Powell, which is how I know you, right? How I know. Shout out to Kevin Powell, who actually is coming on the show October 4th. Shameless plug. But he and I often talk about the double standards. We often talk about this notion, to your point, inclusion is okay as long as we're only talking about white people. You know what I mean? And the discussion around diversity and inclusion and equity is only okay as long as the center of that conversation, the standard bearers of that concept, is white people. Like, does diversity just somehow become not as important because Black people are championing that concept? Like, the contradiction is mind-blowing.
One last thing I'd like to say about that is we were very intentional to call it Black Studies curriculum, because the other part of it is that within our own community, there's division, right? So if I'm Jamaican, I might say, well, I'm not Black. If I'm Dominican, I may say, well, I'm not Black, right? There's these divisions, right? People say, I'm African American, I'm Jamaican, I'm Haitian, I'm this. But when you say Black, you're dealing with the entire diaspora, and you're now bringing the connecting fibers together. So in the curriculum, you talk about, white people and their maybe not seeing themselves or in the curriculum or wondering where do they fit. Well, I spent my whole life learning about white people. I can tell you about the white immigrants that came from Italy and Irish. I can tell you that people from Ireland escaped the potato famine and then came to America, and then what they contributed when they entered into things like the police department as immigrants, as they are part of the melting pot of America. Well, what about the Black immigrants? What about the immigrants from Haiti, Jamaica, Barbados, Trinidad?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Sure. They contributed. Where did they come from? Why did they come to America? What did they contribute to America? And I'm going to bring it full circle. You can't talk hip hop without talking about the migration of Blacks from the South and the immigrants who came from Jamaica.
Absolutely.
All meeting in New York City, and that diversity in that culture, and what gave rise to hip hop. So you learn about this in the Black Studies curriculum, and what that does is it even unifies us as a people to understand that we are one people and we have similar experiences and struggle, and there's diversity even within the context of our own community.
Yeah. Woe is the person who thinks that when we say Africa, we're talking about a geographical location. Woe is that person. Our elders taught us, and most recently, of course, in his anniversary of his passing, Dr. Randy Weston, used to always talk about, we are not talking about the geopolitical boundaries on a physical map when we say Africa.
That's right.
The spirit of Africa and that way that Africans, people of African ancestry, view the world is distinct, and that's what we're talking about. supersedes labels. So I'm hearing you say that is what's threaded in here. Yes?
Absolutely. And I just want to do a total side
Sure.
piece and shout out uh, the 30th anniversary of the Million Man March,
Yes.
the October 16th,
Yes.
2025. And the reason I say that was such a mass mobilization of humanity. It is a shame that they are trying to ignore and write that out of history. And as someone who champions the Black Studies curriculum, I will not sit silently and allow that mass movement and what it produced to be erased.
Absolutely. I'm glad that I know we had talked about that before, you and I. I'm so glad you remembered to bring that up. I was there. My father, who is still living, invited me to attend. I had permission to go, from my father, and it was absolutely phenomenal. So I thank you for that. Um, I want to, before you go, because we could really go on and on, but I want to make sure that we have the comments seem to be on fire. And I want to make sure, Kevin, I'm going to do a couple of starred comments on the screen, Kevin. So let me go ahead and do that. And just shout out, because I think some people had some questions. Let's see. There was something that I just saw. Was this it? It looks like YouTube will become the new classroom for these important lessons. This is from Eric Barstow. I hope I pronounced the name correctly, fam. It says, as a way to circumvent what the administration is doing through the public school system. Yes, Marc Lamont Hill has created this platform. I'm new. Marc is a media personality, scholar, and he's family. So we thank you to Marc. And yes, we want y'all to come here every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern, live 11 a.m. So Eric, we agree with you. Reggie Jack says you can teach the Constitution using the Black experience in America. The Second Amendment can be taught through the Black Panthers.
That's right, Reggie. I wish there could be kind of like bell, like bing.
I know, right?
Right on.
Right. This says, hi, Dr. Blake. Great to see you. Thank you for your continued work to support our students. This is from Conversations with Verdell Jones. Did I say that right?
That's Verdell. Oh my God, I haven't spoken to her in so long. Hi, Verdell. She has a wonderful show.
Your people are all up in here. Your people are all up in here. Nyree Dixon. Did I say that right?
Dr. Nyree Dixon.
See, look at the humility there. She didn't even, it's she, right? She?
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, she didn't even put the doctor there.
She's a phenomenal leader. She's held so many positions in the New York City public school. She has trained so many educators. A proud member of BU, but yes. I mean, just a supernova on her own. And
I love that supernova.
Yeah, she's powerful.
That's dope. We have another educator in the building, Mr. Mo Beasley, one of our regulars checking in from Miami Beach. Definitely, he's an educator. He'll be with us again back in coming up in December. We have, is it Mimi, Black Edfluencers-United BU, stand up. Yep, I want to shout out to all of your people.
Wait. That talk about humility. That's the vice president of Black Edfluencers-United.
Oh, wow.
Is her nickname.
Okay.
And but I got to give her Michelle Patterson, key and instrumental, and she's also from the New York City public school side, the Black Studies curriculum point. So all that implementation, professional learning and training cannot happen without Michelle Patterson, aka Mimi.
I love it. We need all of BU to make sure that they subscribe to this channel. We need to make sure that they come back every Saturday. If they can't watch it live, you can watch it later.
But I would say shout out to Marc Lamont Hill. I'm a big fan of his work. I've seen him stand up in so many media platforms, and it's just powerful to see that he's developing this platform to give people like myself an opportunity to have a voice, and April, the work that you're doing on many fronts, but specifically coming on here and having this conversation with your audience. I am humbled and I'm thankful to be in your presence and honored to be in your presence doing this work with you.
Y'all make me official. Trust me when I say y'all make me official. So I am definitely honored. I want to take this opportunity to tell people that they can subscribe and they can financially support the channel. You know what I mean? This is independent free media, and we get to say language alert. We get to say what the fuck we want, because I'm just saying, like, it's that free. You know what I mean? Sonia Sanchez used to tell us all of these stories about. I want people to go back and watch that episode. But the freedom to express, right? We're not censored here, right? We don't do anything over the top. So yes, thank you for shouting out Marc, his whole team, and subscribe to the channel. That doesn't cost anything. If you got $5, give it. That's important too. You know what I mean? Become a member of the channel. But we want people to support you as well. You have so many videos, so much content on your website, right? So we want, for those who are listening and not watching, you can learn more about Dr. Shango Blake at his website, which is drshangoblake.com. The curriculum is there, the Black Studies curriculum. So can you say again one more time why it is important that the public read and click that link? Could you share that for those who are? Yeah.
We want to please not just read it and click it, but download it.
Yes.
The what it does is it signals to, as we're pushing for implementation and expansion, and we still fight out internal fights. I mean, this is, it's something that can go away if our community is not vigilant. But one of the reasons we made it public is so that it will never go away. But you're sending a message through the algorithm of the New York City We Teach link that this is something that the community is paying attention to. This is something that is valuable, and it literally gets pushed up in terms of importance as that link not just gets clicked, but downloaded.
Downloaded. And people all over the country can use this as a guide, right? Like, this is not only applicable to the students in the city of New York.
Like you think about it, even if you're out there and you have an after school program and you're looking to teach Black history, you can download the curriculum, utilize it immediately. Schools in other parts of the country can use it. I mean, it's there so that our public has something to give to our students. I love what's happening in New York City, but I don't rely on what's happening in New York City.
That is perfectly said. And I know when I looked at it, the labor movement is discussed, indigenous women discussed, like it's so many different ways that one can understand what it means to be human.
Yes.
Right. And our struggle for balance and evolution as humans, that's all in this document. So hats off to you and your team and your leadership and your family as well. I'm not going to put you on the spot, but I think we're going to have you back because you got other stories to tell, but I'm not going to put you on the spot. You got other wonderful stories to tell.
You got a story to tell.
You got a story to tell, my friend. And shout out to Kevin Powell for making the connection.
Yes.
We're going to give you your ascending moment, and then we're going to go over to Byron Hurt, who's coming on. But the ascending moment is sort of like the last word of our featured guests, where they can talk about that breakthrough moment, be it in the career, be it spiritual, be it family, be it whatever, but just your positive note by which to close out.
So I'm going to give you a rap.
Yes.
Because I'm a hip hop principal. You didn't ask me if I had bars, nothing, April.
I meant to. So you read my mind. So have that.
So I'm going to say it like this. Hey, it's the 109 man and time to shine, and I'm still shining. I'm the guy who changes schools around. Still, there are those who want to put me down. You see, I brought the uniforms to the schools, and every day it's worn. Teachers teaching at a high degree, using data and that's because of me. Children smiling on their face, there's glee. My school is where they want to be. I'm a leader. Hey, man, it's crazy. Never thought in my life that one day I'd be in charge of so many young minds, counting on me almost all the time. But my father told me when I was young, one day you're going to be a leader, son. So I stepped to the plate, man, even though the haters, man, keep on hating. I'm a leader not because I want to rule. I'm a leader because I changed schools. I'm a leader. I'm a leader. I'm a leader. I'm a leader at last.
Love it. Love it. I wish we had some sound effects, right? I wish we had all of that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the fact that you give a damn. That's how we always say here. Thank you for giving a damn and for loving on us. We love on you too, the whole collective. We'll see you back.
I'll be back.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Have a wonderful weekend. Family, I hope you stay on. I hope you stay on because we're going to bring to the stage without delay. We're going to keep it all 100. We're going to bring, let's take this banner down. Kevin, help me take this banner down so we can welcome our special guest. What's up, Byron?
April, what's up? That was a wonderful segment, by the way.
Wasn't it though?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, it was really, really wonderful. I feel like one of the luckiest people in the world to be able to have this conversation, to have this flow on a Saturday morning with all of the stuff that's going on. We get to find some nourishment here, and you're a part of that.
And now you get to talk to your dear friend Byron.
Yes. So should I start with? No, we're gonna start.
Where you going, April? Where you going? That smile is too big.
It's too big. It's the grin. It's like all over my face right now. No. In all fairness, we're gonna start with your work, and we're gonna close out with the to let people know how long we've been rocking together, right?
Yeah.
So Byron, welcome back. Welcome back.
You.
I want to encourage people to go through the Ascending playlist on YouTube because it was back in the spring that you came on as a featured guest. We talked to you for a minute about your work as a documentary filmmaker, as a social justice activist. You are still that award-winning documentary filmmaker that you are, but you have a special thing that's coming up. You have a new film, you have a series. So let's jump in.
Yeah, well, a lot of things have changed since the last time that I was on Ascending. And while you are ascending, the society and the culture that we're living in is rapidly descending. And so for many of us in the creative world, whether we're filmmakers or content creators or people who work in academia, which I do as well, we've had to really adjust and really pivot to the times that we're living in right now. And so for me as a filmmaker, that means adjusting to Congress rescinding, meaning taking away $1.1 billion that had been approved by Congress to go to the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. They took that money back, which negatively affected PBS and NPR, right? And so as a filmmaker and someone who's in the filmmaking community, we've had to figure out new ways to pivot, new ways to generate revenue, new ways to raise money to get our films done and to tell our stories. And so one way that I've decided to do that is to create my own film series, which showcases select films from my body of work, going all the way back to 1994, 1995. With my first professional film, I Am a Man, Black Masculinity in America, all the way through to my latest film, my newest sort of yet to be released short documentary film, Men of Courage, which will screen virtually on October 21st. The whole series begins next week, next Thursday, September 18th. but we'll be taking a journey through my whole entire body of work along the way.
Yes. Your body of work has been groundbreaking. It's award-winning. It touches the soul. It's informative. Your approach to documentary filmmaking, which can be a lonely journey, even though you have
very much so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have God Bless the Child Productions, your production company, but give the reminder of why you decided to go the social justice activism route with your talents. Why make that decision?
I'd have to take you all the way back to college for that. I took a class called Blacks in the Media and the Press when I was a college senior. And it was taught by a brilliant woman by the name of Dr. Elizabeth Hadley Friedberg. And in that class, I was exposed to one of my favorite filmmakers and my inspiration, Marlon Riggs, who's a legendary, iconic documentary filmmaker who has his own incredible body of work. And I watched films like Ethnic Notions by Marlon Riggs and Color Adjustment and Tongues Untied. And I was just so transformed by those films, April. I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to tell stories, and I want to have the same kind of impact on young people that Marlon Riggs has had on me. And so one of the spaces where Marlon Riggs platformed his work was on PBS. And so from that, I discerned that if I wanted to tell stories that address social issues in the same way that Marlon Riggs did, that PBS was the place to do it. And so that's how I got into social justice documentaries. And that's why I pursued telling stories and creating stories for the PBS system, which is really public media. It's everybody's media because its design, its mission is to serve and to inform, the public, right? So that's how I got into, making social justice documentary films.
And in doing so, just give us a run through of those films, because like you said, the Byron Hurt film series and fundraiser, we're going to talk about the fundraiser part in just a moment, but that series, it's not every single thing you've done, but it's the major ones. And we want to shout out, you got some people who respect your work. I don't know if you see that on the screen.
Eric Barstow, that's my dude. Eric Barstow was one of my editors. Very, very talented young man. Extremely talented man. Yeah.
Welcome, Eric. Welcome to Ascending. So Byron, share with the audience the films that we're going to see in this series that starts on Thursday, September 18th.
Well, a lot of people who are familiar with my work, they think that Hip Hop Beyond Beats and Rhymes is my first film, and it's not. Actually, my very, very, very first film was a film that I made in college called Moving Memories, the Black Senior Video Yearbook. My film after that, after I graduated, which is why I called it my first professional film, is a film called I Am a Man, Black Masculinity in America. And that film basically chronicles, the experiences of Black men in the United States and the challenges, patriarchy and sexism and misogyny and homophobia. That was my first professional film. We're also going to take
Can I pause you to tell the audience, because that's what's going to be shown on Thursday, September 18, 2025. But correct. I need you to flex a little bit. Who's in it?
So, I was a young man when I made that film, and I had the great opportunity to be able to interview and spend time with some really luminary figures in our community. One, Bell Hooks. The film starts with Bell Hooks, okay? John Henrik Clarke, the great John Henrik Clarke, the great historian. Yes. Michael Eric Dyson, the writer, the cultural critic, the academic, the pundit. Kevin Powell, another writer, pundit, filmmaker, author, poet. So many other people. MC Hammer is in that documentary. Alvin Poussant, Dr. Alvin Poussant, the late Dr. Alvin Poussant. Shout out to his work, and the Cosby Show was one of his hallmark shows that he was the supervisor, not the supervisor, but one of the advisors for that show. And there's so many others in that documentary. Plus, I interview average everyday Black men from 15 different cities across the United States. So it was quite a challenge for me to make that film, as a young, emerging, burgeoning filmmaker.
And that was 1997 when it was released.
Yeah, I started it in 1994, and I finished it and released it in 1997 or so. Yeah.
I have to tease you a little bit because in one of your social media posts, you were like, I cringe when I
Yes,
watch it because you
I
were
do.
so new, but
I
you still felt that it was important enough.
Well, I just didn't know what I was doing. I mean, like I said, it was my first film. I did not go to film school. So, I just didn't really have some of the foundational skills as a filmmaker. I didn't really know much about lighting. I didn't know much about the craft of creating a structure and a narrative. I just had the heart and the will and
Yes.
determination, to tell a story about Black men, which is really my story. If you think about it, I mean, the story that I tell, amplifying these other voices, is just really me, amplifying, my voice and my experience through the lens of all of these different, lenses of Black men, which makes the story universal.
Yes, for sure. It ties into the previous part that we just talked about. But let me turn it over to you again to go through the other films that people can see through the series.
Right. So, I Am a Man will start off the series. Then we have Hip Hop Beyond Beats and Rhymes, which is a film that I may be most known for. It's the film that made it to the Sundance Film Festival in 2006, and showed all over the country. People still show that film, amazingly.
Yeah.
It's surprising to me how many people still show that film. And following that, we're going to also with Hip Hop Beyond Beats and Rhymes, we're going to show two shorts. One is called Barack and Curtis, and the other one is If 50 Shoots. And then the next week, we're going to show Soul Food Junkies, which is one of my personal favorite films. That film won Best Documentary at the American Black Film Festival and also at the Urban World Film Festival and others. It won Best Documentary at the I Love Africa Film Festival, which was an incredible accomplishment or achievement. And then my film Hazing, which will also be showing around the country during the week of Hazing Awareness Week.
Yes.
And following that will be one of my most recent films, Leon Liza's Family Tree. And we're going to end the series with my latest documentary, a short called Men of Courage.
Right. And Men of Courage has not been seen.
Has not.
As yet.
You've seen it. You've seen
I've
it.
seen it.
Yes, you have. But the general
Right.
public is not.
Right. Now but with the Detroit
Black Film Festival.
Black Film
Yeah.
Festival. Tell us about that and tell us why Men of Courage is so important.
Well, the film is going to make its premiere at the Detroit Black Film Festival. And shout out to the Detroit Black Film Festival. They were the first festival to invite us once we were finished with the film. And so one of my goals is to support Black film festivals, whether it's the Black Star Film Festival. We have another festival in the town that I live in, the city I live in, called the Queen City Film Festival, which this film will also appear in. And so the film is important, in my opinion, because it tells a story of how gender violence impacts boys and men, specifically Black and brown boys and men. So,
Yeah.
We often associate gender violence with girls and women, and rightly so, because it has a tremendous impact on girls and women globally around the world. But there's not a whole lot of attention played to or given to the ways in which boys who witness their fathers abuse their mothers or their stepmothers or their stepfathers abuse their moms has on them personally.
Yeah.
So this film features 5 Black and brown men from 5 different cities in the state of New Jersey, ranging from Paterson, New Jersey, to Newark, New Jersey, to Trenton, New Jersey, to Salem, New Jersey, all the way down to Atlantic City. And it showcases or features the work that they are doing in their own communities to help disrupt all forms of gender-based violence among boys in their communities and men in their communities. And so I'm really proud, to have made this film. It was great to partner with the New Jersey Coalition to End Domestic Violence.
Mm-hmm.
They were great partners, and I think it's a really important film, you know, and I'm looking forward to it generating a lot of dialogue and discussion about the ways in which we as men can be a part of the solution by changing the culture of masculinity to help eliminate or reduce men's violence against women.
Right. And I think that's really important. Like you said, I've seen it, publicist PreK. You know what I mean? I've seen it. It's a great piece of work. I know it's going to trigger people in a positive way. You know what I mean? Because it is a unique angle. So I'm really, really happy that you did this work. Shout out to everybody that is involved in that.
Well, let me just say this. I had a fraternity meeting last night, and I talked about the film premiered at the Queen City Film Festival. And, you know, I shared a very powerful story about how men are also affected by gender-based violence in ways that we don't really discuss. And this morning I went to a breakfast with my chapter, and one of my fraternity brothers approached me afterward, and he just gave me a hug and he thanked me for sharing that story, because he too experienced witnessing his father abuse his mom in his household. And he talked about how important, you know, this work is, and how important that film is. And I think that that's going to be what happens around the country when men gather to watch this film. They're going to talk about their experiences. They're going to release some trauma. They're going to hopefully, you know, walk down the path toward transformation. And so that's my hope with the film.
Yeah, I think it's kind of inevitable. You know, the way it's laid out, the honesty and the vulnerability. I think some people might not even know what's about to open up. You know what I mean? Some things have been locked deep inside, and film has that impact.
I agree.
Has that impact.
Yeah.
I wanna just pause for a moment to tell people who are watching, the thousands of you who are watching, thank you for watching on the Marc Lamont Hill official YouTube channel and his Twitter channel. I want to remind people, especially all the new people, this is where you get to subscribe to the channel. We are here live every Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern. We have special guests like Byron Hurt. And I want people to tell everybody to come on for this part. Tell your people to tune in for this. No, this is not the picture. This is the fundraiser part.
Gotcha.
So the part that I want to zone in just for like 2 minutes maybe is the safety net that we are to each other. You said a moment ago, as you and your community have been ringing this alarm, Congress took back $1.1 billion, billion with a B. Can you imagine having $2,500 in your bank account that you're about to do some work with, and then somebody takes it away? So that's like 2,500. We'd be like, what the hell? This is $1.1 billion.
Yeah.
That impacts not just the individuals and the editors and the director of photography, but the institutions that fund you all, gone as of July.
Absolutely.
So
the world for public media has shifted dramatically.
Absolutely. Yeah.
The rug has been sort of pulled from beneath our feet. I know several filmmakers personally who have instantly lost upwards of $350 to over $1 million, all right, for their film projects. And so it's had a very big impact. And you're right. So when a filmmaker loses $350,000 or, you know, over $1 million to tell their story, it has an impact all the way throughout the entire field. So you mentioned, you know, directors of photography, editors, you know,
publicists,
sound people, sound operators. You know, it has a domino effect throughout the entire industry. Not to mention people who work for you know, public media, local PBS stations, for example, or who work for funding organizations, who disperse money to filmmakers. Yeah. So you know, it has a ripple effect, and I think we're all trying to figure out ways to survive this. And to be self-sustainable. And that's what this fundraiser is about. It's about me pushing back and saying, I'm not going to stop doing what I love doing. I'm not going to stop telling important stories that I want to tell. And I'm not going to stop telling the kind of stories that my audiences want me to tell. I'm
Right.
going to figure out a way to generate revenue and find the funding that I need to continue to keep going throughout this time.
But Byron, you've been doing that. Like, weren't you? You had everybody give $1. Like,
Yeah.
this was in the late 90s, right? You have always, in addition to the funding organizations, you've always not taken that for granted.
Yeah.
And you've come to the community, be it via Kickstarter, be it via GoFundMe. You have asked people for support and the people have responded. Talk
Yeah.
about that a little bit, please.
Well, I'm an independent filmmaker, and when you're an independent filmmaker and you don't work for a studio, you don't have, big, huge funders who are giving you money to fund your entire film. You have to
Mhm.
figure out ways to cobble money together, right? And, so I've always been resourceful. I've always been, very like self-sufficient and a self-starter. It's one of the reasons why I named my production company God Bless the Child Productions, after the Billie
Mhm.
Holiday song God Bless the Child, that has its own.
Yes.
So I just always operate under the mantra where there is a will, there is a way. And I have to get my films done by hook or by crook, as Spike Lee has often said.
Yeah.
So reaching out to my family and my friends and my community and other supporters is a way that, sometimes I have to rely on in order to get the films done. I don't like asking for money. I hate asking for money. I really do.
Right.
I hate asking for money. But sometimes you just have to do what you have to do to get what you need.
Yeah. And that's an age-old saying. I want to let people know they can search for you, Byron Hurt, God Bless the Child Productions, on GoFundMe. Right now, we've revived a campaign, and you're at 75% of the goal.
Correct.
Several $100 have been over $1,000 has been raised since the moment you were like, this is what happened from Congress, this is the film series, and people jumped to it, but there's still a gap. So I'm not putting you on the spot. I'm saying to the ascending audience, definitely please donate what you can. And Byron, allow me to say this part. And I've said it before. People think that if they can't give $50, if they can't give $100, if they can't give $250, they don't want to donate because they feel like it's too small. I've had conversations with people like, but I don't get paid this week. I can't give $100. And my respectful response is, do you have 5?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that matters. Have you experienced people like being sorry to give because they can't give a lot? Have you had conversations with people like that?
No, not really. I mean, people give what they can, and I appreciate every dollar, whether it's $5, whether it's $1 you mentioned earlier, whether it's $20, whether it's $1,000 or $2,000. I just received a generous gift from Cindy Waite of the Kind World Foundation. She just, she called me and said she wanted to give $2,000. When she saw that I was raising the money. So it really varies, and people do what they can, and I appreciate every single bit that people drop into the bucket, because it all matters at the end of the day. I think the average donation, on crowdfunding campaigns or for crowdfunding campaigns is $20 to $25 or so.
Correct.
So,
Correct.
if some people donate more, some people donate $500, some people donate $800, some people donate, $5. There's a real range. But, when you get 400, 500 people making donations, it does add up. And it may not be able to fund an entire film, but it may help to pay for, a trailer. It may help pay for a work sample. It may help to pay for the creation of a pitch deck. It may help to, pay, someone on your team or your staff, your graphic designer, someone,
So
who's
they
doing
can
work
eat.
for you to help you along the process
Right.
of getting the film done.
That's somebody's lunch. Like, you feed your crew.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
absolutely.
Help you with that
Absolutely. 100%.
equipment in the hot sun. That's somebody's lunch.
Yeah. Yeah.
It matters. It matters. Byron, I know you have the information all over your social media.
I
We are
do.
encouraging people to follow Byron Hurt. For those who are listening and not watching, follow Byron Hurt on Facebook, IG, Blue Sky, LinkedIn. Definitely tell us again about the series. It's going for 6 weeks, right?
6 weeks now. Yeah, we started with 7 weeks, and we cut it back to 6 weeks because we bundled a couple of films together. But I just want to say before I go too far, April, you have been great. I mean, you are helping to market this series. This is new. It's an experiment. I've never done this before. I have no idea what the outcome is going to be. So far, I've been pleasantly surprised with the response. People seem to believe it's a really great idea to use my own work to get what I need. And you've been really, really great at helping me to craft, the language, the messaging, doing everything that you could do from a PR perspective to help get the word out. And I just want to say, I mean, you mentioned how far we go back. I mean, we go back, I don't even know when we first met, but I became familiar with you when you were doing PR for like Hip Hop Speaks and all of the great stuff that you were doing back in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
Became aware of your work. And so, you've been really instrumental in helping to push this film series out. And let's see what happens. This is new. We're kind of breaking new ground. I've never seen another filmmaker do anything like this before.
Because that's how you think. You know what I mean? So it's been wonderful to be a thought partner with you. We met, I think it was 2005. Hip Hop Speaks. That was me and Kevin creating the town hall series called Hip Hop Speaks, like you mentioned.
Correct.
So we definitely go way back. You're not getting out of here without me showing that picture. But I am going to say, to let people know that our beloved brother Marc Lamont Hill is in hazing.
Yes.
But he's
in Soul Food Junkies as well.
Oh, right. So Marc Lamont Hill is in 2 of your films.
Yes.
Hazing, like we just now said, and Soul Food Junkies. And not like it's Marc. So it's a profound contribution that he's done to your film. Kevin Powell is in I Am a Man.
And he's in Hip Hop Beyond Beats and Rhymes.
Right.
Yep.
See, I'm forgetting. You're wearing a t-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about your beloved fraternity and the connection to, the film Hazing.
Well, if people do not know, they haven't seen my film Hip Hop Beyond Beats. They haven't seen my film Hazing,
right?
Which premiered at the Tribeca Film Festival in 2022. But hazing is one aspect of my identity with my fraternity. I pledged my fraternity in 1990, and I am a proud member of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. The film Hazing was really designed to address a larger social issue that it goes far beyond my fraternity. But I also use my own personal experience as an entry point, as a launching point to have a much larger, broader conversation about hazing culture in general. So that film is also available for people to watch during the film series, but it's also available to watch on Prime Video in the documentaries, the PBS documentaries category, and also on pbs.org and on the PBS app. And I believe, yes, as a matter of fact, it's now available to watch on those platforms if people have a PBS Passport membership.
Right. And one of the sponsors of the film series that's launching on September 18, 2025 is Media Education Foundation. And they're partnering with Stop Hazing because it's going to be shown throughout Hazing Prevention Week, right? Am I remembering? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So the Media Education Foundation is my distributor for colleges and universities and other educational institutions. And they're great. I mean, they're partnering with this particular series, but they also do a great job of distributing my work in the educational market. And I love working with them. And so they will be partnering with Stop Hazing, an organization called Stop Hazing, during Stop Hazing's National Hazing Awareness Week activities. And they will be presenting free screenings of the film for anyone, any institution that wants to show it to their students.
Yeah. I love the broad range.
Yeah.
I love the broad range. Oh, our Verdell Jones is still here. Thank you, Byron, for your continued amazing work in
That's my
film.
girl, Vidal Jones from Central Lights High School. CI
Oh,
Pride.
she was
CI
here
Pride.
earlier. She was
Yeah, I
here
heard you
earlier.
mention. I heard you
Yeah.
mention that she was there for Dr. Shango. I'm like, that's my girl. That's Verdell is my girl from CI.
I love it. I love it. We hope you come back. We hope everybody who's watching, we got some.
You should have Verdell Jones on your show. She's doing great things as well.
Clearly.
Yeah, she's doing incredible things out on Long Island.
Well, we're not going anywhere. This is episode number 34. We got years to go, right? But only if people watch. It doesn't cost anything to watch. You can watch now or watch later. We thank the ascending viewers. I want to say this. And Kevin, break the fourth wall if I'm off here, but I promised at the beginning of the show that I was going to gift to an ascending viewer a pass to watch all of the films in the series. That's a gift. I'm not just your publicist, but the agency is a sponsor of this film series. So I will say this, and I'll say it slowly and clearly. If you are an ascending viewer who follows me and Akila Work Songs on Instagram, and you sign up for the email list and DM me to tell me that you did all of that, you get to watch all of the films. That's a $90 value. It is a way that I want to gift this great work to make it easy for someone. And all they did was click a button. And so that's in support of the series.
That's dope. I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. That's just one. I think I'm feeling really generous. I might announce that put on blast as well for another user. But I will say in support of Stacey Patton, who is coming on the show soon in the not too distant future. I have passes for people to experience her on Substack, meaning her podcast, her writings. It's meticulous. It's fiery. If you're not ready for the clap back, don't take advantage of this. Stacey Patton is the truth, and I love her with all of the moral fiber in my beings. And I'm available to give someone a free month on Substack where you don't have to pay. I want to make that available, but you gotta do your part. All you got to do is click, and we'll make it available. So DM me.
I love Stacey Patton. Dr. Stacey Patton is incredible. She's in my film Hazing, and she was in that film for a very important reason. Because she does a really incredible job of putting things into a historical and social context in ways that very few people have the ability to do. And so she is also the clap back queen. She will clap back on you if you don't come correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Or if you come at her.
Yeah, definitely. And it's always righteous, but it's stinging.
Yeah.
It's stinging, and it's deserved for many people. But Dr. Stacey Patton, let me just say this before I show the picture. You're not getting out of here without that. But we got Kevin Powell coming on the show. We got we're not here next week, family. The Marc Lamont Hill official team is going to put something else in the slot on the 20th, but we will be here with Brewhouse of Brooklyn on that last Saturday. We got Tim Jones coming. We got the president of Rainbow and Black. This is the president of organization in support of Black parents of transgender children. That's coming up as well. We got a lot. We're booked through December. Like, real talk. We're booked through December. So we want people, we want people to subscribe or whatever. So Kevin, let's show the audience how far we go back.
Oh my God, look at that. Young B Hurt. You know, so funny. I remember that sweatshirt. I bought that sweatshirt in San Francisco because that was my first time going to San Francisco, and I thought it was going to be hot in California, and it was cold. And so I had to go to a little gift shop and buy that sweatshirt. But that's a beautiful photo. That photo is the day that I interviewed you to be in Hip Hop Beats and Rhymes.
Right.
And wow, that's an oldie but a goodie.
And that's my old apartment. I had the books. I didn't even have a bookcase. Y'all see the books in the back? Those are just some of the books. I didn't have a bookcase. And Sabrina Gordon
She
was
was
the
there. She was associate producer
she took
of Hip Hop Beyond Beats and Rhymes. But you know, so funny. I mean, and you can just see that we go way back because I have all
yeah,
this gray hair on my face. You got gray hair on your scalp and
yeah,
on your temples. So we go back a long way, April.
we do. And
Yeah.
I always tease you when you're like, stop showing that picture. I'm like, the picture ain't about you. Like we fam and all, but it ain't about you. Look at my locks. Those my
No, you know
natural.
what's worse is when you just completely crop me out the picture. I've seen
I,
that too, April.
I
I've
did.
seen you posting that picture and just completely. I see a little bit of the black piece of my shoulder in that when you crop me out.
I did.
So
I absolutely cropped you out because lovingly I say to you, it's not about you. It's about the glow. It's about my hair. I was getting my hair done every 2 weeks. Those are my natural locks. But yeah, I just wanted to tease you and to let everybody know how far we go back. It's an honorable partnership. I
absolutely.
love working with you. It's been a joy. I've learned so much. So thank you for giving a damn.
And likewise.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. So let me give you the ascending word. I mean, this is your last word. We have this thing called the ascending moment where you get to share briefly and succinctly what was a breakthrough moment for you in your personal life or your career.
I don't know. There are a lot of different moments that I've had, but I guess in alignment with the word ascending, it probably would have to be the moment when I learned that I did not receive a job as a producer at WCVB in Needham, Massachusetts. I think I was still a college student. I may have just graduated from college, but I really wanted to work at a TV station. And I learned that I did not get the job. And when I learned I didn't get it, I drove home from the station, from Needham back to Boston. And, you know, I was just so disappointed and so upset. And actually, I broke down, I cried, and I said, if I'm going to do what I want to do in life, in this career, in media, I'm going to have to create it for myself. And that was the moment on that drive home that I created God Bless the Child Productions, because the refrain of that song was the first thing that hit me. And I said to myself, you know, in order for me to do what I want to do, I have to create it myself. I have to do it on my own. And so I've been doing it on my own ever since.
Byron, I think that is a powerful ascending moment. And look at what happens. You had this pain, you had this grief, you're on the side of the road,
Yeah,
tears coming
literally.
down. Look at you
Literally.
now, all
Yeah.
of these decades later. So thank you for
Yeah.
your perseverance. Thank you
You're
for your
welcome. Thank you.
perseverance.
Thank
All
you.
right. I know we're gonna talk 50 million times between now and Monday. So
I know. So I'll see you. I'll either see you on Zoom or we'll talk on the phone.
exactly.
All right.
All right. Love you much. All right, family. Thank you so much. This has been another wonderful, uplifting episode of Ascending. I am April R. Silver. Kevin, we've gone a little bit over, so we're not going to do all the outros. Let's just do the one to tell people. Oh, we got a comment from Black Men Investing. Welcome back. Certain outlets push Black men are irresponsible and harm our community. The guest on today's show says otherwise. Yes, thank you for that. That's a great comment from our audience. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Do us a favor. If you were even a little bit inspired, a little bit, please tell your people, watch us now or watch us later. Follow me on social media. I got more pictures to show, pictures that of me and Byron, of me and all the other wonderful clients. We're going to put some clips up from before. Follow me on social media, April R. Silver and Akila Work Songs. I'm gonna flood my social media, give y'all a tickle. If y'all got a kick out of that one, it's a lot more. We want to invite you to watch the Ascending playlist, where all of our episodes are there. All 34 episodes are on the Ascending playlist. Thank you, Marc Lamont Hill, and the entire team. We appreciate you. We will see you on the last Saturday of September. We are not here on the 20th, but use that time to watch all the other episodes. Okay, Kevin, did I forget anything? You can break.
No, you covered everything.
Okay. All right, family. Thank you so much. Thank you for the comments. Remember to like, subscribe, give $1 if you can. Anybody doing anything positive in Black media in particular, just support us financially, but more so, tell your people. Family, we will see you at the end of September. In the meantime, stay up.